Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level, unbiased perspective in the middle, really looking at what is the purpose of this connection, what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I do have a different tarot deck shuffled that we'll be using for each side of the connection, as well as the advice deck already shuffled that we'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do remember to take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, remember that these energies can absolutely be swapped. So if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, or if you are a cross-watcher, then vice versa, just know that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point of these readings is for you to take what helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Scorpio, on your side of this connection, you have air with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. You know, this air energy to me is really talking about being stuck in your head, stuck in your thoughts, overthinking a lot when it comes to this connection. I feel like this connection has you a little messed up in the head. Not that you are messed up or that you need fixing, but it just feels like you're really stuck in your head with this connection. Now, the Six of Pentacles in reverse energy, I feel like it's because of the Six of Pentacles in reverse energy, because I feel like you gave a whole lot to this connection. I feel like you quite possibly gave this connection everything you had, and it never reciprocated and never gave you what it is that you were deserving of. And I feel like, you know, that has you second guessing if you're good enough, what you did wrong, why things happened the way they did, what you could have done differently. And I feel like you're really, which we'll get to in between this connection, but I feel like you're really putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Like you did something wrong, or like it's you, not them. Now I don't necessarily believe that the way that connections fall apart has to do with just one person, but I do believe that this person has more to do with why things fell apart than you realize, because they have past life with the Eight of Cups. Reading this past life card in a couple of ways, this could have been a past life connection for you, meaning that when you met this person, it maybe felt like you had known them forever. It was super easy to be yourself with them. They were easy to talk to. You felt very comfortable around them. But I also see that this could be a connection from your past that you're still kind of stuck in your head about. I do feel like this person walked away from this connection. That could have been you. The Eight of Cups could have been you, absolutely. But I feel like ever since that, either way, I do feel like this connection ended. I feel like this past connection, I feel like it wasn't like you didn't feel like you had a choice. So if you did walk away, it was because you felt like you had to make that decision. And then this person, if they walked away, obviously, then that left you with feeling like you didn't have a choice. But then you have in between this connection protection with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. I actually feel, when things don't work out, when you don't get the relationship that you want, or things don't progress the way that you thought they would, it's actually divine protection. Rejection is divine protection. When things don't work out the way that we want, it's often because there are better paths available for us. But for some reason with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Like you needed to be more perfect, or you needed to do things better. I don't know. It feels like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself when it comes to this connection. And I feel like this person actually played more of a role than you realize, or like it had nothing to do with your worth. But we'll see when we dive into tarot, which is right now. So let's start, Scorpio, with your side of this connection. You have air with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. This is for Scorpio's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is for Scorpio's side of this connection. One more. This is for Scorpio's side of this connection, please. This is Scorpio's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Well, you could be dealing with interesting. Could be dealing with an earth sign or a fire sign, because you have King of Pentacles with the Queen of Wands. But I actually view that in a little bit of a different way too. So you definitely don't have to be. Because there you are as the Queen of Cups or King of Cups. Okay. I feel like this connection was pretty up and down. Wasn't really stable. It wasn't really always moving forward. It kind of feels like it had a lot of twists and turns. This could have been a connection where you felt like you like broke up with them a lot, or I don't know. It just feels like it was very like unstable almost in a way. I don't know. Not that you're unstable. It doesn't feel like it ever provided you with a feeling of security or like certainty. Like you were always second guessing this person, or second guessing how they felt, or second guessing like if they were going to show up. Like I just feel like there's a lot of uncertainty that came from your side of this connection. And you have the Seven of Pentacles in the verse with the Wheel of Fortune. This is like the changes that happened in this connection were actually positive. And it might not feel like that to you. It might feel devastating or heartbreaking, or however that resonates with you. But with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, there's a need to reevaluate. Um, how do I put that? There's a need to reevaluate why you put so much into this connection, even though it never amounted to what it was that you know that you were deserving of. I feel like that's ultimately what this message is saying. Now, whether or not that's like because you felt like you were never going to receive better, like this is the best it was ever going to get for you, and so you were hoping it would become something, eventually this person would eventually reciprocate, eventually, or like things would eventually progress in the way that you wanted to, and it just feels like you were met with a disappointment kind of over and over again. Like, I don't know, it just feels like this wasn't a connection that brought you a lot of like peace. Almost, not that any connection can be a source of our peace necessarily, but it can certainly add to or complement our peace instead of taking away from it. Scorpio's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Is that King of Pentacles in reverse again? Ace of Wands in reverse. Ooh, Four of Cups in reverse and World in reverse. Okay. I feel like this person checked a lot of boxes or checks. Say, I'm talking in past tense, but this could be a connection that's currently taking place in your life. So take it as it resonates. But I feel like this person checked a lot of boxes of like who you thought you'd want, maybe like looks wise, or maybe they had the drive that you wanted, or maybe they had the same outlook on life as you had. Like it just feels like on paper, this person checked a lot of what you thought you wanted in a connection, and maybe what you do want in a connection, but yet they never really met you where it was that you needed to be met, like on an emotional level or like a spiritual level even. And I feel like you were always left feeling like something was missing in this connection, even if, like, even on the good days. Not that you felt like, I don't know. So I feel like that can always be taken as like, it's not that you didn't feel this person was good enough for you. I just feel like you were always wanting more from this person. You were hoping they would be more vulnerable. You were hoping that they would fully commit or something. It was like you were always wanting them to be more invested than they were, because I feel like you saw a lot of potential here, because they kind of checked those boxes that I feel like you had, like material level, on a material level. But like I also feel with this Four of Cups in reverse and the World in reverse that this is um, a bit of a cycle for you here, Scorpio. I feel like you probably have a tendency to see the best in people, and that's not a bad thing by any means. In fact, that's a very wonderful quality. But sometimes what that can do is blind you from the reality of who someone is. Like it can, those rose colored glasses can really be be more prominent than like the truth of the situation, because I feel like you when you see the good in people, you really look at them through the lens of the potential that they have. And I feel like you did that a lot with this person. You saw their potential, you saw what this could be, this connection could be, and I feel like you were willing, because you saw so much potential, to sacrifice what it was that you needed at the time out of hopes that it eventually became something better. And I feel like you have a tendency to do that, not just with this person, but like in other connections in your life. Like, see the good in people and ignore the like true colors that they show you, because you see that potential until it like kind of comes back to bite you in the butt in some way. Okay, Scorpio side of this connection. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Huh. Scorpio, you may be a bit of a fixer. Now, the Page of Swords, the Six of Cups in reverse, the Ten of Wands in reverse, and the Devil. Again, when you have a tendency to see the best in people, you will do everything in your power to try to bring that best version of themselves out. And what you'll end up doing is you'll take on their burdens, you know, whether it be emotionally or like baggage that they have from their past, you'll take that on and you'll bear the burden of it too. You'll try to help heal the other person because you feel like it is your responsibility, or you feel like it is something that you have to do if you're ever going to receive love. So I do feel like you have a tendency to be a bit of a fixer, trying to fix other people. And I feel like this person came to you as a person that, I don't want to say they were like broken, because that sounds really dramatic, but I feel like they came to you and you could see right away that they had issues. Maybe you could tell that they were emotionally immature, emotionally unavailable, or over time you realize that they weren't really that great at being vulnerable. But maybe you had a lot of empathy for them because you could understand them because of the past that they had, or you felt like you knew them better than they knew themselves. Like, it's like you saw who they really were, but you had so much empathy that it's like you were willing to look past that because of who you saw that they could be if they healed, or if they decided to be vulnerable or love themselves, or whatever the case is. And what that did was keep you stuck in a revolving, like, never ending cycle with this person, where you were hoping that they would change, that they would start to align with who they could really be, and then getting disappointed whenever they weren't really able to do that. This Page of Swords to me is typically communication. I really get the vibe that it's almost like you're second guessing what you could have done to make this work, or like, what if I would have said this, or what if I don't know, like, it's like you're second guessing, or like, what if I never said that or something. It's like you're second guessing like whether or not you ruined this. And I can tell you right now that you did not. That the way that these energies were set up, this was kind of bound to take the path that it did. The Devil here is being a little bit too attached to the outcome of a connection instead of accepting the connection to your life for what it is. And that typically happens whenever we attach ourselves to the idea that if it's not this person, that we're never going to be happy. And we start to place that person on a pedestal, and we say that I need this person, or I need this person to love me in order to be happy, or if they don't love me, I'm never going to be loved, or if they don't see my worth, I'm never going to, be worthy, or whatever the case is. And so I feel like the reason that you're so in your head about this is because this person really triggered a lot of your feelings of not being good enough because of how these two connections interacted. But I'm telling you right now, I really don't think that it has anything to do with you not being good enough. I feel like there's something more going on with this person that led to how things played out in this connection, or how they are playing out. Again, take it as it resonates. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Scorpio side of the connection. One more. The Scorpio side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. The Scorpio side of this connection, please. See? Okay. The disappointment. So Queen of Cups, Five of Cups, Hangman in reverse, Three of Wands, High Priestess in reverse. Ooh, Magician in reverse, Ten of Swords. The disappointment that you are experiencing or have experienced in this connection is very much what you are used to experiencing. I feel like you're kind of used to people letting you down, Scorpio, and I feel like this person was no different, or is no different for you. Because with the Three of Wands and the High Priestess in reverse, to me, it's really saying that like this person existed within the realm of your comfort zone when it comes to relationships. And the reason you held on for so long, or that you're still holding on, or again, whatever resonates with you, is because the disappointment in this connection that you experienced or are experiencing is very, very predictable for you, because again, you are so very used to it. You are used to the disappointment of other people. And I feel like what's happening here is, remember, your ego loves control. There's a part of you that loves predictability, even if cycles are painful, even if you can tell from the beginning how a connection is going to unfold because of red flags or because of signs that remind you from how things have played out in the past. You will still go into that with the hope that things are going to be different this time on a conscious level, but then there's a part of you that is expecting things to go exactly as they always have. The disappointment's going to be the same as it always has, and you're going to end up knowing exactly what that feels like. And what that does is keep you trapped in cycles that are painful but predictable. And so with the High Priestess in reverse, your intuition, it's hard for you to hear that voice, specifically in terms of this connection, because again, your ego is loud. Your ego is the loudest voice that you have, and it's the one that's going to be rooted in the most fear. So you are going to most likely try to believe it the most. When we experience disappointment with a relationship or a person, and that disappointment happens for the first time, we have a choice, right? I do believe that everyone deserves a second chance, but that one, if you are having the same conversation, being disappointed by the same things, if someone is continuing to hurt you in the same ways over and over and over again, that's when you have to recognize that you are caught in a cycle. And oftentimes, remember, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions are subconscious. Only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is conscious. Talking about the power of habit and the way that all works. But we might not even realize how there's a whole 95% of us that's keeping us stuck in cycles that aren't good for us because it's predictable and comfortable. And so there's this need to try to recognize how this person was a bit of a pattern for you, specifically in the realm of you giving more than you were receiving, and how that to you was on some level as good as you thought it got for you. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Scorpio side of this, the Three of Wands in reverse. The stability with the Four of Wands, the success, stability that you are looking for in this connection, that you're looking for in general in all kinds of connections, doesn't exist within your comfort zone. And the people that are really meant to be in your life often actually look a lot different than what you expect. Because again, this person is very much what on paper, like I feel like you've always thought you've wanted. Like this is, again, like looks or like attraction level, like chemistry level you have with them, or like their level of success. I don't know. I'm not saying you're materialistic, but I feel like what this person had on paper was very much in alignment with what you thought you always wanted. So I feel like on top of the empathy that you have for people, seeing the good in people, I feel like then this person comes along and to you they look like your perfect match. They look like someone that is like really meant to be for you. And so that adds a whole nother level of you not being able, or you not necessarily not being able, but you looking past who they really are, their true colors, and the way that they treat you, because you're hoping so much for things to work out that you ignore, I mean, quite honestly, the red flags. And trust me, we've all been there, right? So no judgment from me. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Scorpio side of this connection, please. Yeah. Ace of Cups in reverse, Eight of Cups in reverse. Okay. Oh, that's in reverse. Yeah, that makes sense. Doesn't really change the message. In reverse, and so is that. Okay. I feel like this person, or this connection ending, or this person walking away, or this person never quite becoming what it is that you were hoping this connection would become, sparked a little bit of hopelessness in you. Oftentimes when we lose the potential of something, we feel like we're losing that potential to ever occur in our life. Meaning, if you looked at this person as your potential for your 10 of cups, or for, your long-term partner, or someone who is going to, eventually be the love that you deserve, like if you saw that potential in them and you lost that potential, it can feel as if you're never going to find that ever, right? That's where that attachment kind of comes into play. Is I feel like you attached so much of your potential happiness to this person that losing this connection brings up this level of like, oh, well, I'm never going to be happy if I fully lose this person, or because I fully lost this person. And that could not be farther from the truth, right? Now, whatever you believe is going to be what you experience. And so there's got to be some sort of recognition there on, what do I believe about my love life? What do I believe about my relationships? Do I believe that the bare minimum is all that I deserve? Do I believe that transactional love is all that I deserve? Or do I believe that I'm deserving of love for who I am, and that the person that aligns with that is out there and will find me as soon as I learn to love myself at the level that I'm looking for someone to love me, right? That's the belief you should be focusing on, because that's the truth. This person's energy towards Scorpio past life with the Eight of Cups. This person's energy towards Scorpio, please. This person's energy towards Scorpio, please. What does Scorpio need to know about this person's energy toward them? Oof, okay. Four of Wands in reverse, Seven of Swords, and the Devil. I feel like this person is actually struggling quite a bit in their own life, and I feel like they kept a lot of that from you. This Devil here is like, it could be like addiction or mental health. With the Seven of Swords, I feel like they kept a lot from you. They held back a lot of being fully honest with you about how they felt. And I feel like their level of instability and how it affected you, because they weren't vulnerable and honest about how they were struggling, made you feel like it was your fault that they that, like, how things played out. And I feel like that's why you're super in your head, when in reality, this person just wasn't ever fully honest and vulnerable with you about what was kind of going on in their own head. So again, I don't feel like it has anything to do with you not being good enough, or like there was nothing that you could do to really help this situation, especially if this person like walked away out of the blue, or you feel like you were blindsided. It's probably because they were struggling and in their own way, and it ended up affecting the connection, right? This person's energy towards Scorpio. Literally, Knight of Wands in reverse. So both in reverse. Six of Pentacles in reverse and Knight of Wands in reverse. This is literally inability to be vulnerable. And that is what contributed to their inability to give you what it is that you deserve. So it's not that something my therapist once told me, and you might have heard me say this in readings before, but I will repeat it until the day I die. But something that my therapist told me that really changed my perspective on relationships was oftentimes we take people's emotional, like the emotional capacity that they do have, when it's lower than ours or lower than what it is that we deserve, we'll take it personally. And we'll say, well, this person, isn't showing up, or isn't, loving me, or it has to do with me. It's my fault that this person won't give me what it is that I deserve, when in reality, it very well might be what this person is capable of at the time. And that has nothing to do with us and our worth. Now, you can have empathy for somebody all day long, which I feel like you do. Scorpio, I do feel like you have quite a bit of empathy, but that does not mean that you have to accept that kind of behavior into your life. Having empathy for someone and accepting their burden into your life are two completely different things. Unconditional love does not equal unconditional tolerance. So this person's inability to be vulnerable is the reason why they weren't able to reciprocate you. This person's energy towards Scorpio. And maybe you're like, yeah, I know that. This person's energy towards Scorpio. I know this person can't be vulnerable. Okay. This person had love for you, has love for you potentially. But their emotional capacity was completely outweighed by their fear of vulnerability. Like, that's not the right way to say that. Their emotional capacity was blocked by their fear of vulnerability. Sometimes we can't understand how someone could do something to us. And we think that it's because, oh, well, I would never do that to them. But we have to remember that when people are struggling with vulnerability, they're not thinking the same way that you do. When someone's in survival mode and trying to protect themselves and pushing people away out of fear, that's because they literally do not know how to let people in. And to you, it can feel like they, like it was very personal, or like they were doing it on purpose or something like that. And I'm not saying they didn't mistreat you, and I'm not saying you're valid in feeling the way that you do. What I am saying is that it had nothing to do with you, Scorpio. It had nothing to do with how good you were. It had nothing to do with how good the love that you have to give is. It has nothing to do with your worth. It has nothing to do with the love that you're deserving of. And it has everything to do with their own emotional inabilities. And on your side of things, it has to do with the fact that you were looking for love from someone who was not capable of giving it to you in the way that you are deserving of it. So it's less that they, I don't know, like, didn't choose you or didn't know how to open up to you. It's not that. It's that I don't think they know how. And I think they're more afraid of getting hurt by opening themselves up than they are to lose people in their life that do love them. This person's energy towards Scorpio. See, but I also feel like they're not taking a whole lot of accountability for the way that they did hurt you. The Justice in reverse and the Strength in reverse. Because of this. This is emotional unavailability here. Page of Cups in reverse. You know, I feel like I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they're being it doesn't feel like they're taking accountability for their emotional unavailability. Like it's just kind of like, well, I did the best I could. Instead of doing something about the emotional unavailability, kind of just blaming it on the emotional unavailability. This connection actually kind of affected them more than you realize. Is affecting them more than you realize on definitely a subconscious level. I feel like this connection doesn't make them feel as powerful as they like to feel, as in control as they like to feel. And that probably pokes at that fear of vulnerability even more because they aren't able to fully show up as their like confident self. So there's a lot more going on with this person than you realize. This person's energy towards Scorpio. One take. They are disappointed with the way that things played out in this connection. We have the Eight of Wands, the Four of Cups, the Nine of Cups in reverse, and the Five of Cups. They are disappointed with how things played out. I don't think that it's that they didn't want this to work out. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they did. It's just that they weren't really willing to face that fear of vulnerability for the connection. And to you, that can feel personal. Well, why weren't they willing to face that fear of vulnerability for the connection? Well, Scorpio, they're not willing to face that fear of vulnerability for themselves, much less you, right? You're looking for this person to love and care for you more than they love and care for themselves, and they are just not capable of that. And again, that does not take away the pain that this person has caused you. That does not make it okay. But the more that you can understand where someone else is coming from, the more that you will learn not to take it so personally and not to look at it as a confirmation of your own fears of being unlovable and unworthy. And instead, you'll look at it from a place of, well, you know what? I've got to listen to those red flags next time. I've got to choose differently next time. I've got to listen to my gut instead of my ego trying to repeat old patterns next time. They have a really negative view on relationships. I feel like they've been hurt in their past, and I feel like that heavily impacts their ability to show up with like positive expectations of a connection. And so they probably self-sabotage the connection before it's able to get too close, not only because of that fear of vulnerability, but because they already expect things not to work out. This person's pretty stubborn. Definitely stuck in their ways. And I feel like you're hoping, or we're hoping for a long time, that they would change, step into that full potential that you knew that they had, but I just don't feel like they're in a place in their life, and it might not be a part of their life path in this lifetime in order, for them to do that. That was a long message. There's a lot going on in that one. All right, this person's energy towards Scorpio. This person's energy towards Scorpio, please. One more. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. This connection is very triggering for them. It pushed them, so Knight of Cups in reverse, Nine of Pentacles in reverse, and Three of Wands. It pushed them very far out of their comfort zone. It made them feel exposed. And I feel like that's why they're kind of doing everything they can to distract themselves from it, because I think that it's easier for them to distract themselves from this, from how this connection made them feel, than it is to face that fear of vulnerability, right? Because again, before that you can be vulnerable with anybody else, you have to learn to be vulnerable and honest with yourself first. And if this person is like kind of lying to themselves, or not able to be vulnerable with themselves, then they're not going to be able to be vulnerable with anyone around them, including you. And that isn't something that you should take personally or feel like you could have done anything different to change that about them, because no matter how attractive, successful, whatever that you are, or how much you give to this, or how much you love someone, you cannot love somebody else into loving themselves. You can create a healthy space for them to learn to love themselves, but if this person isn't taking accountability for their own emotional unavailability, then they're not going to be able to be open to doing the healing needed to be what it is that you are deserving of. Okay. That's why I feel like you are being protected from men. Rejection is divine protection. All right, we are going to hop on over to the extended protection with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Thank you so much, Scorpio, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Scorpio, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.